Hello and thanks for joining in another technical analysis video. So today we're going to have a bearish view on Bitcoin prices and look at some indicators to try to get an idea of just how bearish this could be. And we're going to talk more about what's going on in the cryptocurrencies, where we have almost 25% of the Binance coins are in hold stance, but almost 28% of them are in partial hold stance. And for many people, this is the most critical area of the trade. When do you close the trade and take profits? We're going to take a look at what that means for the altcoins at the end of this video. Okay, let's jump right into Bitcoin. First of all, we got to respect the 1, 2, 3 formations. So we got the 1, 2, 3 formation here, and below that level is bearish. It's below the top 1, 2, 3. Then we had a larger 1, 2, 3. It came back up and has retested this a few times. And now what my eye goes to is sort of a double rejection here that turned into a 1, 2, 3 top with its own bearish rejection line now. So now we have a 1, 2, 3 top and a 1, 2, 3 top that also form yet a larger 1, 2, 3 top formation that turns like levels of extra more bearish if we cross below this area. So you can see how the 1, 2, 3s are nesting on a small time frame. The 1 hour EMA crosses on this top 1, 2, 3. It recovered and the 1 hour EMA crossed again on that 1, 2, 3. When we go to the 4 hour time frame now, we can see that we have the larger 1, 2, 3 that when prices have broken down below this area, the $46,000, 46.3, it will have crossed the 4 hour EMA. And that'll be our time to get out of the trade for part of the trade in my trading rules. Part of what we've been watching for the bullish area is for the MACD to cross over positive here and break above this trend line. But what I want to reflect on in this right now is just clear this all up, is going to the 12-hour time frame, and we see that the MACD is crossed negative. We see red histograms here and red histograms growing as well as being crossed negative. And this crossed negative on the 24th of August, before the 1, 2, 3 formation was actually fully fleshed out. So if we go to the 1 day time frame for the MACD, we can see it crossed negative on the 23rd of August. Even earlier at the peak of this, the MACD was already crossing bearish. So on the daily is crossed bearish, the 12 hour is crossed bearish, the 4 hour has crossed bearish and is extending. And the 1 hour is crossed bearish. If we're going to go any kind of bullish, it'll start off in the small time frames. Things will start crossing positive and then work their way up into the longer time frames. But for now, everything seems to be crossing to a more bearish point of view. So I wanted to go and figure out how far could this come down, and I turned to the RSI to get sort of an idea. When we're looking at the 12-hour RSI, we can see how the RSI came back to these levels and then bounced up, back to this level and then bounced up. And we were using that break of these down trend lines as indicators as to when it was going to bounce up and take off. It really could do the same thing now. But if the 1, 2, 3s in the MACD on the 12 hour and the daily and the 4 hour and even the 1 hour, if all of those negative bearish indications are going to have weight, this price could come down further. And what I want to look for is the RSI range that is going to fit for that kind of pullback. If the RSI pulls itself back down to this second line where it did in the uptrend before, right? It came back in the uptrend and then crossed and went higher. So these downtrends were really important as we were breaking to go higher here on the 12-hour RSI. But you can see how far down the RSI got even though we were in the uptrend. So I do believe that we are in a larger uptrend and there's bigger forces than we can imagine actually that are working on this right now. And yet at the same time we could have a technical pullback to these levels If we're going any further than this and we're starting to go down more, then we've switched from the bullish stance and we're going into a far more important bearish stance. Two more things now before we jump into the altcoins. I want to take a brief look at the Ichimoku Cloud, and we see here that on the 4-hour time frame, that blue line is coming very close to crossing back below the red line, which would undo the bullish bounce off the cloud that the 4-hour was doing. So that's failing now if that blue line crosses back below the red, especially if prices are coming through that cloud. We didn't do that all the way up on this uptrend. That's really confirming the 1, 2, 3 top formation if we have that crossover. And the Bollinger Band's 12-hour time frame is a very tight band, and here is a very tight band, which generally means there's a pretty strong move coming when the 12-hour Bollinger Band gets tightened down like that. So it does look like we could have a strong move, and given the tightness of the band, it does seem like 42,000 would be a pretty expected range for this to go back to. And now to finish up, to talk about how this is affecting the overall altcoin market. Right now we have about 25% of all of the markets in Binance are in hold stance. That means the 12-hour EMA is crossed positive and the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation is already passed. Those are our trading rules to get in, and we use those same trading rules on every single market in Binance so that we're grading everything against the same standard. And we have almost 28% of the coins are in partial hold stance. And what that means is that as Bitcoin dominance is going sideways this way, this is sort of like a bottom formation. And the altcoins are doing almost exactly the opposite of this, like a top formation. And we can see that in the decentralized financial coins. And if I go into the 4-hour time frame, we can see how the 4-hour EMA is crossing negative, and we have a potential 1, 2, 3 top formation here. This is exactly where many of the alts are right now. They're gone sideways out of a top formation, and most or more than half of the coins that are above the 12-hour EMA, they've crossed negative here on the 4-hour EMAs. Just like the decentralized financial perpetual contract, we can see that happening, where we can see here in the altcoin perpetuals for the whatever coins are making up this list of coins, they are still above the 4-hour EMA. They haven't crossed negative. These would all be full hold status coins. The mid-cap perpetuals have topped already, and the 4-hour EMA has crossed a while ago. So this would make up a whole bunch of the coins that are in that partial hold status, but still hold part of it because the 12-hour EMA is still positive, where we want to keep some of that trade. We go into the shitcoin perpetuals. These are the lower market cap coins. They're very close to crossing those 4-hour EMAs, and yet a little distance away from crossing the 12-hour EMAs. And so this is what's happening right now with many of the altcoins. We're seeing that more than half of the coins that are in hold stance are back to that partial hold stance. That means that the next step for them is either that they're going to show strength and go back up into the hold status, or they're going to show more weakness and they're going to go past this 12-hour EMA exit and back into neutral stance. And that'll happen when all of these perpetual contracts are topping out and coming down. That'll happen when Bitcoin dominance is rising up from here out of this channel and it rises above it. We're going to have a whole slew of coins crossing past the 12-hour EMA exit. Time to take your profits, time to stand aside and put your money into Bitcoin. That is, unless Bitcoin prices are dropping as Bitcoin dominance is rising. And if that's the case, then our best place, sadly, is to be in fiat currency. A rare time when that actually happens, that Bitcoin dominance is rising and Bitcoin prices are dropping. But we'll be watching for it here. So I hope this video has given you some insight, not only as to the top formation here in Bitcoin, but what are the altcoins doing? If you want to have more information and you want to have access to this Crypto SmartWatch control panel, plus details on every single coin that is in each of those stances, plus 2 years of historical data on every one of these coins, join up to the Bull Market Watch over on the website and become a subscriber. have this information in your back pocket, and we'll send you an email every day that keeps you up to date on the latest moves through our trading system across all of these different coins. And there's no doubt that this chart is going to change dramatically right after I do the video. So be sure to come over and join us on our Discord chat, where we're talking about the changes in Bitcoin prices all the time. It's a continuous conversation worldwide, 24 hours a day. See you over there.